Welcome to Front and Center Ice, presented by Run Pure Bets. As always, your host, JC Zargo. We missed y'all on Saturday. Glad to see the boys get some time off, but it's always depressing when there's no hockey. But we're back at it with a full slate of games. I'm, of course, joined as always by Tanner Smith.
How's it going?
And Nate Defy. You boys have a good Christmas?
Yeah, happy to be back. Excited. 3 days off from hockey. Seemed like a lot longer than 3 days. So yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah, no, it was good. Good, definitely filled with a bunch of DFS and sports with NBA and NFL. No hockey, obviously, but nice little break. Good time with the family. A lot of drinks to be had for sure. But we're back here breaking down this 12 gamer today and looking to pick some winners.
Hell yeah. All right, then let's just go ahead and jump right into it. First game on my slate is the Chicago Blackhawks, the worst team in the Eastern Conference, taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. Total in this game is live right now at 6 points. Carolina is obviously a heavy favorite. Seems like a pretty chalky move here. Guys are rested. We're expecting starters in net for pretty much everyone. Any reason to overthink this game, Tanner?
Not really. Hardest part here is just finding any value. Like I said, worst team in the West compared to one of the better teams in the league. Puck line here is minus 165 for the Hurricanes, even minus 2.5, plus 110. So not a whole lot to love there. I think the only thing I really like here is Martin Necas over 3.5 shots for plus 110. Over the last 5, he's been averaging about around 5 shots a game. Seems like he's kind of become that power play one-timer guy, just teeing it up every time. So I think if anything in this game, that's where I'm looking, but not a whole lot of excitement in this game for me. I don't know about the DFS side, but not a lot of value here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's always tough when you got that 2.5 point puck line. And also, too, even if you were to pair like the 1.5 line or the money line with the over, Carolina, they're not scoring at that incredible rate that we saw last year. So no. I don't really even love.
Because I was even looking at their team total, like plus it was I think plus like 130 or something for over 4.5, and they've only hit the 5 goal mark I think 4 times on home ice this year. So there's just not a lot here on that one.
Yeah, Nate's fine, man. You got anything on the fantasy side for this one?
Yeah, so this is an interesting game to me. It's probably going to be the chalkiest spot on the slate. I mean, you get a 400 favorite against the Blackhawks. Everyone slams it. We've been slamming it all year. And it's hard to discredit what these Canes are doing. I mean, they're on an 8-game winning streak. They're absolutely destroying teams right now. Blackhawks did get a win, but they are 8-20 on the year with 20 total points. So they're one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in the league. A very, very heavy dog. Now facing Carolina in Carolina with our full rested squad that has Aho back. This just screams to me like a Carolina smash. Do I get here in DFS? I'm not sure, because the issue here with Carolina is they'll score 5 goals and 4 of them will come from 4 different lines. So that's the issue that you run into with Carolina. They're just so deep. They have scorers on every line. One call out is Turbo here. Teravainen is 3.7K. That's a very nice value. Top line, top power play, skating with Aho and Jarvis. So that's a very nice play there. He's shooting the puck a little over 2 times per game the last 5, and at 3.7K, that's a reasonable play there. Probably a solid cash game value option, and even a GPV value option to round out your teams in tournaments here. But you can go to this squad for sure in DFS. It's the best spot in the slate. Chicago's allowing over 3.5 goals per game last 5 on the road. It's just the issue is if you're going to stack, the first line, and then the second line is going to score 3 goals, and you're going to kind of be drawn dead. So that's the issue I run into. But yeah, a very good team. I wouldn't fault anyone for overstacking the Canes here. Maybe grab the full power play, because Blackhawks penalty kill is terrible. But I'm not sure if I get here myself, I would just grab some value pieces or some mini stacks, just because of how their scoring happens on Carolina.
Cool. Now, you seem really confident in Carolina. Would you even entertain that 2.5 puck line at plus money?
I wouldn't, just because we've seen so many crazy things happen. Patrick Kane is playing very well right now. Don't even hate him, to be honest. Carolina's pretty good defensively, but I mean, he's shooting the puck 5 times per game coming off. He's kind of showcased himself. He wants out of Chicago to kind of finish out his career, it seems. So he's somewhere you could go there too. And I don't really want to trust a 2.5. You need 3 goals, right? They need to win by 3 goals to cash that bet. So that's a lot in the NHL. I mean, unless they pull their goalie and the game's close enough, but I don't think the game might be close enough for them to kind of pull the goalie and get an empty netter to kind of cash that bet. So I wouldn't go there for sure.
Cool. Pretty easy game to start the slate with. We move on to another one that's maybe not as chalky as it appears. The Boston Bruins are visiting the Ottawa Senators. In this game, it's got a total of 6.5 points. And the Boston puck line sitting at plus 134 seems a little high for a Boston team that's just been running over the whole NHL. Yeah, Ottawa's kind of put some nice wins together. They've gotten themselves out of the bottom of the division. But, I mean, is this really a spot, Nate Defy, man, where you're going to look at any Ottawa players, really even give them a second look?
Yeah, so I don't love this game, to be honest, from a DFS perspective, even though it is a 6.5 total, one of the only ones on the slate. It's just, so if I look at these prices on these Bruins, Pasta's over 9K, Bergeron's over 7K. The one call out is Lindholm on that top line now, center on that top power play. He is under 5K. That's a fairly good price tag. Taylor Hall is under 6K. He's kind of cooled off though a little bit, but I mean he's showing signs of life. He does get that. He is on that depth line though, and that second power play. So you lose a little ice time there with him. DeBrusk is under 6K, so I might look there. He's been playing pretty good. But I mean, both teams are towards the bottom third in allowing goals. So I just don't know if I get here. Obviously, Boston can steamroll anyone. We've seen it all year. So they're always in play for GPPs, especially that top line of Bergeron, Marchand, and DeBrusk, and obviously throwing Pasta there. But I don't really love it for DFS side here. But I would lean definitely Boston if you're going here. But I could see coming out of the holiday break, right? We seen Boston be pretty sluggish a lot, and just kind of sleepwalk through games. So that's another issue you have playing these prices for DFS. So not my favorite game, but definitely you can play sides or pieces from both sides. But yeah, lean Boston for sure.
Right on. Tanner, man, you smell an upset here? Or are you riding hard with that Boston puck line?
I can't decide on this one. Last game, Ottawa took the last one 7-5. You know, the big thing there, though, was Swayman got the start for Boston. He got yanked at one point. Allmark went in. I think he let in one after that as well. But, yeah, like you said, coming off the break, it's always tough to know how teams are going to respond to having, 3-4 days off, especially going home for the holidays. You don't know who's been eating and drinking what. So it seems to come out a little slow here, but just because of the goalie mismatch here, Talbot's been solid. But with the Allmark in that, I think if anywhere, I'd go Boston in regulation for minus 115. Puck line is just going to be a little tricky just because the Senators, they can light a team up if you give them the chance. I mean, they're getting over 5 power play opportunities a game, and that power play is at almost 40%. So, I mean, if you give them the chances, they're going to score on you no matter how good your penalty kill is. So
Timmy Stew's back too.
Yeah, there's just not a whole lot I love here. I think, if anything, I lean Boston side just on that 60-minute line, but there's really not a lot here I'm in love with.
Fair enough. And when there's this many games on the slate, you really don't have to break your back, man, and pick on every game. Some games are just a little too dicey to play, so we just move right along. Last game at this 7 o'clock time slot, Washington Capitals at New York, taking on the Rangers. Kemper expected in net against Shesterkin. Should be an instant classic. Pretty evenly matched game here. Washington, slight dog at a plus 128 money line, and the Rangers minus 154 at that money line. Both teams kind of had some troubles not they did not come out firing like we expected they would this season. Really, only reason I've been watching Washington of late is to see Ovi, break some records. So Tanner, man, we'll start with you. How are you breaking down this game?
The Pittsburgh fan in me hates to say this, but I think I got to go towards the Capitals on this one. I mean, they're trying to get Ovi the record, so they just keep pumping him the puck, and he still can score. So, I mean, if he's taking 6-7 shot attempts, he's going to get a couple in. What's his goal score prop on this today? I mean, yeah, he's plus 125. I feel like everyone's kind of hammering that line as we go. But, the Rangers have not been good on home ice whatsoever. They're actually one of the worst teams in the league on home ice. While they're scoring 4 goals a game, they're allowing over 3. They're only taking 25 shots, but they're only allowing 23, which is funny because the Capitals, for some reason, are taking 36 shots in their away games. So, I mean, I think part of that's just teeing up Ovi. But another game that's too close to call, I think. I think I lean Capitals. Just only issue here is injury. I mean, Carlson, I think, left last game with injury. They're still trying to get some guys back. Wilson's not back in the lineup yet. So stuff that I think my favorite thing here would be number hasn't come out yet. It hasn't been announced. But if Igor's in that, whatever his safe prop is, I'm going to be looking at that. If it's around like the 28, 29.5 line, should be able to get decent value on that since the Rangers aren't allowing a ton of shots. But since the Capitals are taking a ton, it'll be interesting to see where that plays out. But I think if you're looking for a dog on this slate, Capitals plus 135 is a nice spot for it.
Yeah, I don't hate that pick at all. Now, since Ovi hit that 803, you don't think his shots dial back much at all?
No, I think they're just going to keep it up. Yeah.
Wow,
I mean, his chances are only going to get slimmer and slimmer as his career goes on. So, I mean, hammer it home while you can. They're just going to keep beating him up.
I mean, he is the grade 8, but it still feels like you're sacrificing your chances at winning when you're just. I mean, everyone knows.
At this point, I don't know how much I mean, obviously they care. They want another cup, but I think for them, just trying to get him that record is number one priority right now. Because if he's scoring enough to get them there, they're probably going to be winning games anyway. So, who knows?
Fair enough. Nate's fine, man. You agree with that breakdown, or do you got some love for New York here?
No. So this is probably one of my best bets on the board just from a numbers standpoint. I don't see how the Caps lose this game, to be honest. And you're getting plus money on them on the back of Ovi riding an absolute heater, shooting the puck 5 times a game. I mean, he's on a line with Dylan Strome and Connor Sheary. So he's the focal point on that line. They're literally there just teeing him up, slam dunks. So I don't see how New York stops them. I mean, they're middle of the pack in defense on home ice, which is not good. And the Caps are the 3rd best road scoring team in the league the last 5 games. So obviously a lot of that is on the back of Ovi. Eric Gustav is 4K on top line, top power play, averaging 20 DK points over his last 4 games. Obviously he's been pretty chalky because you see a 43 and a 32 piece from a 4K and under 4K defender. People are going to slam that, but I mean, he's shooting the puck almost 4 times a game as a defensive man on that top power play at 4K. Don't hate that play. Obviously, Ovi's always in play. But yeah, I definitely lean the Cap side here. They do have the 7th best power play against the 22nd penalty kill in New York. So if I'm going here, it's that top power play with Ovi, Gustav, something like that, a power play stack there. Definitely solid plays. But again, I mean, some of their price tags are pretty expensive. Ovi's 8.5K. So you have to make decisions. Are you going to play the Oilers? Are you going to play the Wild? I mean, we got just about every powerhouse on the slate because it's a 12-gamer after the break. You have to pick and choose your studs, and I haven't fully dove yet into where I'm going to go. But definitely Caps are my favorite bet for sure on the slate, and I would like them quite a bit for DFS as well.
Right on. Tanner, anything else from you before we move along? You're on mute.
Donkey's on
I'm
mute.
gonna take that as a no, though, in the lack of
it seems to be a trend lately, but no, I got nothing on this one.
Okay, fair enough. Then next game, one that I'm pretty intrigued by. Jari versus Sorokin, Pittsburgh at the Islanders. Islanders they're kind of a scrappy team, and if you pick your spots right, they can be a great dog. They've made me some money this year. The line opened at 5.5, and it's up to 6, which I think is phenomenal for bettors because I think this game has huge under potential. But are you seeing something different here, Tanner?
I don't really know what I see. I mean, I obviously like the Penguins, but not just because I like the Penguins in general, but the Islanders have had some injury issues lately, mostly in their depth guys and on their defense. I think Adam Pellick's out. He's one of the more under-talked about defensive defensemen in the league. You know, he's really good at shutting guys down. I think when the Islanders played the Penguins in the playoffs last year, Pellick was matched up against Crosby and completely eliminated him from the series. So, I mean, him being out is a huge loss to them. Cizikas is in. I mean, I hate to say it, but I can see going with the Islanders on this one. Sorokin can stand on his head, and the Penguins always seem, whenever they run into a good goalie, the good goalies play up to their standard. And so, I mean, right now, too, the Islanders are second in shots on home ice, and they're only allowing under 25 shots against. I mean, Penguins scoring a lot, almost 4 goals a game, but I don't know. This is just a tricky one. I've seen the Pens let me down far too many times to just pass out the money line. I think, honestly, for this, so I could see this busting open. For the overs at 6, I could see this one opening up a little bit. You get plus money on that one. Penguins are leaky at times. It's just, like I said, it's hard. I've seen them lock down and play great defense. I've also seen them just completely fall apart, and the Islanders seem to have had their number over the past couple of years. So I think, if anything, the over here at 6 for plus money is where I'd be going.
Fair enough. I like it. I can respect the attempt at an unbiased opinion. Nate's fine, man. What about you? You liking anyone in this game? What do you think of the goalie matchup here?
Yeah, so this is an interesting one. 2 goalies that can obviously stone the puck and not allow much through. But if you look at the last 2 games between these, both 9 goals in both games. So if you can get 5.5 line, which I'm seeing on ESPN yet, you might need to shop around unabated. You can probably shop the lines. So I would definitely look there. If you can get 5.5, I would slam the over for sure. So if you look at the last 2 games here, like I said, 3-6 loss. The Pittsburgh won 6-3 last game, and then the game before that, Islanders won 5-4. So 9 goals in both games, the last 2. So from a DFS side, it's probably going to be unowned because most people look at totals, just because that's pretty consistent across all DFS sports, and just kind of pick and choose the best spots or the name teams, right? Like Edmonton and Boston and the teams that always get ownership every slate. So you could look for some value here. There's some good price tags. Raquel is 5.4K, playing great right now. Anders Lee is playing incredible. He's 5K flat. I don't know if I get up to Sid, but I mean, that top line between Sid, Jake the Snake, and Raquel can bust open a slate any day of the week. And I mean, they're all at a tier below some of those Oilers studs and Ovi and some of that. They're about a K cheaper at least than all those guys. So you could definitely go there for some lower ownership. Brian Rust is playing all right. He's under 5K. So there's some value pieces here. I don't know if I get to a full stack, just because it's hard to win GPPs with a full stack like on Islanders. They just lack some upside sometimes. But if this game shoots, and I like the over, sounds like Tanner likes the over as well. I mean, these Islanders have some good prices. Like Barzal is 4.7K. So I mean, you can pick some pieces off here. Not sure if I get here, but definitely some value pieces. Like Anthony Beauvillier is 2.8K on second line, second power play. $300 above literally stone mint price, coming off a 36.3-point game. So he had 5 shots and goal last game against Florida. They won 5-1. So they have shown upside to score 4 or 5 goals a game, right? So if you get that, and he's 2.8K, could look there. He's shooting the puck right around 3 times a game. Don't hate that as well. And I mean, $300 above min price, you can't really go wrong there. It can't really kill you. So definitely a solid game in my opinion, and I like the over for sure.
Fair enough.
Are you going at the goalies here? I mean, Jari and Sorokin still have been some of the better in the league this year.
Yeah, let me
Or if
take a
you're looking
look
at
at
them or
there.
not.
So Jari's 8K has 2 very good games against the Islanders. So like his last game, he let 3 goals in, still scored over 20 DK points just from the saves and the win. And then the game before that was a 1-0 shutout that he faced the Islanders, only 25 saves there. So he has shown some upside against these Islanders, has been playing better. But I think I would lean Sorokin on home ice at 7.4K. Like I said, I like under that 7,500 mark for goalies, just because, especially on a 12-game slate, there's so much offense you want to pay for. I don't like spending up for goalie, but I think that's pretty consistent. Is spend down for goalie, spend down for defenders, and pay up for forwards and wingers is pretty common. So you can definitely get Jari probably lower owned here, but I lean Sorokin for the price discount, and I truly think this game is more of a pick 'em, to be honest with you. Whatever goalie plays better, and both teams have been scoring and have been decent, so that's where I'm at.
Fair enough. I'm willing to divert my pick, and I might just fade this spot. But we shall see what happens. Tanner, anything else from you, man?
No, like you said, it's closer to a pick 'em than the books are giving them. So
Yeah,
Well, I mean, if you look at it, so Pittsburgh's got 43 points on the year. Islanders have 40. If you told me or asked anyone, right, like who's the better hockey team, 99% of people would say Pittsburgh, right? But if you look at the stats and the records and the points, right, like Pittsburgh's only has 3 more points than these Islanders. So I mean, realistically, it's even Vegas thinks, right, minus 130 plus 110. It's pretty close to pick 'em in my eyes. So definitely interesting here. And Jari's definitely going to get more ownership, I think, than Sorokin will.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, moving right along. Another pretty solid goalie matchup is Toronto Maple Leafs at the St. Louis Blues. Murray versus Binnington. The Leafs have a pretty solid edge here. Maybe a little bit weaker than one might think. They hit a bit of a skid, but I mean, overall, they've been tremendous of late. Really can't knock them. Mike Smith in the chat, though, he says Blues crush Leafs. He's got the hot take. Tanner, man, what do you think here?
Well, first off, that's my dad. He's a Blues fan, so there's that. But I mean, I've got to go with the Leafs here. They're the better team. I mean, I took them minus 2.5 the other day against the Flyers, and they let me down in the third, blowing a 3-goal lead. That was hurtful. But you can take them in regulation for minus 115. I definitely lean there. I mean, over the last 5, the Blues, I know they turned it around a little bit, but they still just stink, averaging around 2 goals a game, allowing over 3.5 a game. Shots-wise, they're not taking a ton, 27. The only thing here would be that the Leafs give up 4 power plays a game. It's the 4th worst in the league, or 4th best, depending on how you want to look at it. But the Blues are only operating at 11% on the power play, so I don't know. I don't see a lot here from the Blues. The Leafs in regulation, minus 115 is certainly where I'm looking. They let me down to the minus 2.5 last time, which is why I'm avoiding them puck line here, just because the Blues, if Kyrou and them are clicking, they can score some goals, and they're on home ice, so they're going to get those favorable matchups. So I can see them leaking a few by them, but I like this Leafs team in this matchup.
All right, you better be sure of that pick, man, because your dad's going to let you hear it if you're wrong.
Yeah, that's all right.
All right, Nate Defy, man, what about you? Always some great contenders for a DFS play when the Leafs are on the ice. But going up against the Blues, and I'm sure high price tags, this is a spot you avoid.
Yeah, so this slate is really interesting. I don't like a lot of these early games. Obviously, the Canes are great plays, the Caps, some of that, but this game is interesting to me. Blues have been very profitable for DFS. They do still have nice price tags, but I think this Blues fairy tale kind of comes to a halt here in DFS against these Leafs here. St. Louis is just not good at stopping the puck on home ice. I mean, Benny's not been great, right? And their other tenders haven't been great either on home ice. It's just, if I look at these price tags for Toronto, I mean, Austin Matthews, obviously, he's an absolutely incredible scorer, incredible center, one of the best players in the league. He's 9,100. So you're paying for it. You're paying. If you're playing him, you're not playing McDavid. You're not playing Draisaitl, you're not playing Ovi, some of these other guys. It's going to be hard to get multiple of these guys in at their price tags. Nylander, 7.3K. That's a fair price tag for his production. He's shooting the most on this team, even more than Matthews is. Averaging right around 20 DK points in his last 5 games or so. Coming off a 33-point DK game last against Philly. But outside of that, I mean, these price tags are pretty expensive. Marner under 7K is fair on that top power play. But I think my favorite piece, and it's probably the chalkiest leaf, if I'd say, just because of the salary, is Bunting. I don't know where this dude came from, but he's absolutely playing incredible. Top line, top power play. He's 4.6K. So you kind of get a piece of Nylander and Matthews through him because obviously he's a line mate on the power play with them as well. So maybe he scores the goals, right? And you get that $4,000 discount off of Matthews. So wouldn't hate that as a one-off. I don't know if I get there. Maybe in stacks, it definitely lowers the overall stack price throwing him in there. But I think obviously that increases his ownership too, right? Because people look at Toronto. They're a minus 170 favorite in a fair total against the Blues. Have right around a 4-goal implied team total. So I think he does get some ownership, but that's probably my favorite piece. And then one other absolute GPP punt, 2.5 Stone Min price, Alexander Kerfoot. I would look at. He's on that third line, which I like playing third lines more at home than on the road. But, I mean, he's absolutely stone min, shooting the puck right around 3 times per game, has good history against the Blues, and is min price. So wouldn't hate that if you need a 2,500 winger or utility around your teams. You love everything else. Throw him in there, and I could see him scoring a goal tonight. So
I was going to ask you about that third line. They've been clicking lately. I don't know how many goals they've had, but they've been very good. Do you like that line stack as a whole, just given that what they've been doing and how cheap they'd probably be compared to the alternatives on that team?
So I know Engvall is
Matthews is just so expensive.
Yeah, so that's why I don't think I'm spending salary here going to these Leafs. So if I look, I probably wouldn't go to camp. I would probably go Kerfoot and Engvall is like a two-man stack. Engvall does get that power play run as well. So he's a fine one-off as well. And him and Kerfoot are both min-price. So you get both of them on the same line. Both of them see around 15 minutes a game at min-price. And you have the correlation. Engvall might get a little bit more minutes with the power play run. At 5K for 2 guys. So that's a nice little mini correlation, mini stack there to fill out your teams. So definitely don't hate that for sure. Wish they were on home ice, but I don't hate it even on the road. These Blues can be steamrolled at times.
Fair enough. All right, man. Now, for those of you that are new to the show, man, when Natefy gives out a gem like that, you don't want to miss it. So Kerfoot, you're going to want him in your lineup. Tanner, anything else from you?
No, I'm trying to see what's Alex Kerfoot is plus 340 as an anytime goal scorer as well. So right,
one hate
time on that.
One hate thrown a little bit at that. I mean, had 2 down games, did have a goal, 2 goals actually back against the Ducks a couple games ago, about 4 games ago. Hasn't scored a goal yet against St. Louis, but has had 3 assists in his last 2 games. So. Maybe he pops one here.
That means he's due. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing Kerfoot is due for a goal against the Blues.
You heard it here first.
All right, moving along. Now this is a line that kind of confuses me. Jake Ottinger against Soros, Dallas Stars in Nashville, over under set at 6, and it is pretty dang close to a pick'em. Why? Tell me why I would even consider the Predators here, Tanner.
I mean, for one, it's Tuesday, and we all know Forsberg Tuesday. So there you go. The books are catching on there.
They are.
No, I don't know. I mean, the Stars can light a team up, but they haven't been quite as good lately. I mean, the last 5, they're only allowing 2 goals a game. But I mean, some of their games have definitely opened up, and I think on home ice, Saros is just his stats between home and away are night and day. He's just a completely different goalie on home ice. I think the Stars or the Predators on home ice at least have a chance to try and slow down that Robertson line that's just been all over everybody. But yeah, why would you go to the Predators? That's a good question. I mean, it just depends on which Saros you get and which Ottinger you get.
Yeah, I mean, they're 6-2 on the puck line at home. Their record's a little bit better than that, but still,
it's
catching a Stars puck line at -132 against one of the worst teams in the West. I'm gonna have a hard time not pounding that.
Yeah, I can definitely see that one opening up. Let's see what's their power play and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, Nashville allows almost 4 power play opportunities for the other team, but it's funny going against the Stars. Only get about 2 chances per game. Both teams allow a fair amount of shots here, so both goalies are going to be tested. So, like I said, it's tough to say on which goalie you're going to get for each team. Just being on home ice, I think I don't hate the Predators here, but if the Predators win, it's going to be a higher scoring game. So the over there at -105 at 6 isn't the worst. Like I said, you're getting 2 good goalies, but you never know which ones you're going to get. So with over at 6, I don't mind that at all. It's just, yeah, Stars are definitely the better team, but Nashville can squeak them out. Forsberg Tuesday. I don't know. I don't mind the Predators here.
All right, but are you on that money line?
I don't know if I like them enough to take it. I guess if you really want some action here, I'd go Predators. But yeah, nothing really here gets me too excited. But yeah, Predators is where I would go if you really want something.
Okay, but you got a strong lean on the over, you're saying? Or at least...
I think so, yeah. More there than actually picking a team here.
Okay, fair enough. Nate's 5 man. What you got on this game?
Yeah, give me the Stars here. I'm not going to these spreads here. Saros has given up 4 goals in both of his last 2 against Dallas. 1 at home, 1 at Dallas, so it doesn't matter really. And this, I mean, you got the Jamie Benn engagement narrative going on. So he got engaged over the weekend here over the holidays. He's sitting at 5K flat. So there's a little engagement. VIP, our boy, fellow coordinator that does a lot of prize pick stuff and things on the DFS Run Peer Discord over here. He's going to love it because I do like his Stars tonight here. If I look, they have the better matchup in every metric. Nashville allows the most shots per game on home ice, 60% on the penalty kill, which is absolutely terrible. And they give up the 5th most penalties per game. Obviously, the Stars don't draw a ton of penalties, but that can change. I mean, if you get a team that takes dumb penalties and gives dumb penalties up, I mean, a team doesn't really have to be good at drawing penalties. They kind of just get handed to them. And you put this top power play, which Jamie Benn is on the top power play at 5K. They're going to score some goals here. Saros, if you really need a punt goalie, he's 7.3K. He's going to absolutely get peppered with the rubber. So he can get there even in a loss. But I don't hate it or I don't love it. I definitely lean the Stars. Otter here at 8.1K. I mean, he might be my favorite spend up goalie just because I like the Stars so much here. But again, I hate spending salary on goalie, especially on DraftKings. So I lean the Stars for sure. Definitely can go back to Robocopter, Rupee, Pav, Ben. These guys can all score, and I do think I think the Preds get steamrolled here, to be honest with you.
Okay, and for those of you that are wondering, Jamie Benn is plus 310 as an anytime goal scorer. So we might have another heavy hitter prop
engagement narrative right there.
Yep.
Yeah, and we'll certainly give Mr. VIP his due if that prop hits. Tanner, man, anything else from you before we move on?
No, I mean, yeah, Stars are a good team, and it's hard to fade them. It's just I know what Saros can do at times. Like I said, I'll probably be just avoiding this game entirely, though.
Respect that move. Now for another game with some pretty hot and cold goaltending. Minnesota Wild at the Winnipeg Jets. Fleury versus Hellbuck. 2 guys, you never know what you're going to get from them. Over under sitting at 6 in what is, I believe, I got different lines, different spots, but we can call it a pick-up for all intent and purposes. But this is just a great slate of games. But again, I don't know how you make a pick here, I feel, I like Dallas way more than any team in this game. But what do you think, Tanner, man? You got a play you like here?
It's just hard for me to fade Hellebuck on home ice. I know he's let us down at some point, but it's tough for me to fade them. I mean, no Foligno for the Wild, so they're losing some of their depth there. And just being like I keep saying on home ice, they get that second change, they can slow down or try to slow down that Kaprizov line. He's just been firing on all cylinders. The guy's electric, 8 points in the last 5 games. So they're going to do their best to stop him there. I mean, the Jets are scoring almost 4 goals a game in their last 5, while they're allowing 3.2. Fleury's not been the goalie we've seen in the past. But an interesting thing here is the Wild are second in shots for, while the Jets are third in shots against. So that'll be an interesting one there. Hellebuck will definitely be tested, but given how good he's been, I think he stands up to it. The goalie props aren't out yet, but I'll definitely be looking at his save prop. I've made tons of money on him this year there. He's just lights out so often, more often than not. The special teams here will be interesting because the Wild take the 5th most penalties, but also get get the 2nd most power play opportunities there, while the Jets are almost the exact opposite at 19th for both of them. And I mean, both team stats are pretty run-of-the-mill for the league as far as percentages. So if one of those starts clicking either way, I mean, it could be a huge factor here. But just the way Hellebuck's been playing, no Foligno for the Wild, I think I've got to go Jets here. They're minus 105 money line, even regulations plus 150. Those plus signs are always fun to click on. So I think I'd go Jets here, if anything. But I can definitely see an argument for the Wild here.
Okay, fair enough. Worth noting too, the over/under is 3-7 in Winnipeg's last 10. So as though it's a small number, you can kind of hope both guys bring their best, and I think that's a solid play there. Nate Defy, though, man, what do you got in this game?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the Wild here. I know the Jets have been good. It's just Minnesota's a solid defensive team, and if Coach can get the Ek line on some of these top lines, which first or second line are pretty much their only scoring lines for the Jets. So I have to believe, even though the Jets have the last switch here, that Dino is going to throw Ek on Connor or PLD and slow those lines down from scoring. And on the flip side, the Wild have been consistent. They're not top of the league in scoring goals, but I mean, they shoot the puck second most on the road, about 35 shots per game on average. Jets penalty kills at 75%. So if I'm going here, I'd go to this Wild power play. I just don't know if I really love it at these price tags. I think there's better spots on the slate, but I do like this Wild power play and definitely lean towards the Wild here. I know Helly's been great on home ice, but he's kind of regressed a little bit here. And Helly did give up 6 goals in his last game against Minnesota, but it was in Minnesota. But still, I mean, home road ice doesn't really mean a ton, to be honest. Obviously, some people are better at home, but I mean, they just saw him back in November and put 6 by him. So definitely don't hate the Wild here.
Yeah, I mean, the Wild, they're one of those teams, man, that they're better than their record would indicate. They're better than the stat sheet would indicate. They're a fun team to watch. As you said, power play is a big part of it because, man, I swear every time I watch the Wild, they're scoring on the power play. They're definitely
They do have their banger line back, too, in Greenway and Foligno. That's probably the best defensive line in hockey, if not one of them. So, like I said, I mean –
Foligno is out tonight.
Okay. Is he?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, they still got Greenway and they still got Ek, and those are 2 very good defensive players. It's just like it's going to be harder for Dino to dictate matchups, right? On the road, but I mean, still, like I lean the Wild here.
Yeah, I definitely think they could have a really good second half with the way they're starting to put things together. Yeah, personally, I'm fading the spot here, but you guys heard it. Nate Defy on the Wild. Our man Tanner on the Jets. We'll see who comes out victorious. Moving on to our later slate, a game that Nate Defy said he was giving some love to. per usual, giving the love to the Coyotes as the Colorado Avalanche roll through town. This is an injury-riddled team that is still, trying to put it together with what they got, facing an Arizona team that's pretty great at home. Overall, they haven't been that great, but I don't know what it is about that tiny arena these NHL teams struggle to play in. So, Nate, the fine man, I'll just hand it over to you.
Yeah, so I think I play the Yotes more than even their own moms do if they even play DFS. But, I mean, they've been profitable. Their price tags are always cheap. The one thing I do have, don't mind both sides of this game. I mean, this top line for the Avs has been great. They still have Lehkonen, Comfort, and Grant. So that's where I would go if I'm going to the Avs here. Rant's on an absolute tear, averaging 25 DK points in his last 5, which is incredible. He's 8K flat, so a little bit of discount off of Ovi and Leon and McDavid and even Krill Thrill from Minnesota, some of those guys. So that's where I would go if I'm going to the Avs here. It's just the Avs are 235 favorites, so I think they're going to draw ownership on this slate, especially with how good they've been playing. I'm very well okay with flipping the script and just going to the Wild here, or the Coyotes here, especially on home ice, with guys like Nick Schmaltz, Clayton Keller, Travis Boyd. Chychrun has been great. He's obviously one of the best offensive scoring defensive men in the league. And their price tags, their price tags are fair. So definitely don't hate them in terms of salary savings. Because these Avs are the 9th worst road team in allowing goals and giving up over 3.5 goals per game. So definitely don't mind flipping the script. Yotes are going to have no ownership again, because everyone's going to see this 235 favorite in the Avs and how well they're playing right now and jump on board them. But they do have more injuries going on right now. So that's where I'm at. These Yotes make good fillers. I think I talk about the Yotes every time they're on the slate, but they continue to come through for me. And if they can get on the power play, which the Avs allow nearly four per game, the Yotes take 4 per game. They draw 4 per game, so they're good at drawing penalties. The Avs penalty kill is the 3rd worst in the league at 67%. So that's where I would look, that top power play or even the second power play, because Arizona kind of splits it. But that's where I would go.
Any gems or goal scorers you want to throw out for the people?
Yeah, let me see if I can look at some while Tanner talks here for a minute.
Yeah, man, go ahead. Yep, Tanner gives your breakdown.
Yeah, I'm with you here. The Avs are one of the worst road scoring teams here. Last 5 they've put up 3. Make sure I'm not muted. There we go. But yeah, it's hard for me to. I've been on them not all season, but lately the Yotes are a tough team to play at home. Something about those small barns, they get loud, makes it tough to play, and the Coyotes have some good talent. Like you said, Nick Schmaltz, they've got those guys, Clayton Keller. I think he's a phenomenal player. Defensively, they've got Ghost, Chychrun, all these guys who can shut down top lines like that. No Nichushkin for the Colorado Avalanche, which is, like you said, they've just been injury ridden this entire season. McKinnon should be back soon, but obviously not tonight. They shouldn't be a factor tonight, but just one thing to maybe consider if something happens to Georgiev, their backup. I can't remember his name, but Francouz isn't making the trip right now. So if by chance something happens to him, the Coyotes should be able to open it up, but that's kind of an afterthought. But yeah, at plus 200, I got to go with the Coyotes on this one. We've been riding them the last couple of weeks and stuff, and I'm not going to start fading them now. Not against the Colorado team that struggled like this.
Awesome. So both you guys are on that plus 184 money line?
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked that's some good value there. You don't see a pretty heavy dog that actually has an outside chance to win, in my opinion, numbers wise. Sure. So don't hate that. You're getting, almost 2 to what is it? Almost 2 to 1.
Yeah.
2 to 1 on that. Veggie, last game back in March, obviously last season. But it was a 42 save win against these same Avs when they were at full strength on home ice. So something about this, he's been great as well. He's 7.2K. Like him quite a bit on the DFS side. And I mean, like I said, I'm just going to continue riding these Yotes until they fail me. Their price tags are cheap. And I'm going to go right back to Nick Schmaltz, 4,500 on the DFS side. I don't know what his anytime goal scoring is, but he's playing well. He's on that top power play as well.
Plus 230.
So I would look at him. I like him a lot.
Plus 230.
Plus 230. Sorry about that. Go ahead, Nathan.
Yeah. So Nick Schmaltz is probably my favorite Yote. Clayton Keller, line mate with him, Travis Boyd. I like that top line, and they're all in the top power play as well with Chychrun and Ghost. So definitely like those guys, and their price tags are cheap. And Matty Ice is probably going to make fun of me because I talk about the Yotes every slate, but they've come through for me the last 2 weeks, and I'm going to continue riding the train. I mean, their price tags don't move, so.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, people don't want to hear chalk, so they love a good take. So we'll take that and run. Love it. Moving along, we got the Battle of Alberta. Edmonton Oilers visiting Calgary. Calgary's minus 140 favorite at home. Over under sitting at 6.5. Always a great game when these two teams meet. Nate, I'll kick it over to you, man. What you got on this one?
Yeah, so this game's interesting, and I actually, as crazy as it sounds, I side with the Flames here on home ice. Edmonton's no world beater in terms of a defensive hockey team. They're an offensive firepower, obviously with McDavid and Leon and Hyman and Nugent Hopkins even. So those guys are always in play. But, I mean, McDavid's price is nearly 10K on a 12-game slate. So, I mean, if you want to play him, which everyone plays him every day, he's probably the greatest hockey player in the league right now, and it's probably not even a question. Not even a question in terms of talent and his elite goal scoring ability. But I mean, 9.8K is a hefty tag to pay, and I like the Flames. I like the Flames to win. I think Vegas agrees with me. That's why they're favored. They've been scoring. Their cadre's been heating up. These guys have been playing better. So at the discount on these price tags, I'm going to go with the Flames and target Skinner here for the Oilers in that. Flames are probably one of my top stacks in the slate, to be honest with you.
Okay, fair enough. Tanner, what about you? Now, this Oilers team, we kind of feel like we're all waiting for them to put it together. They got probably the two best players in the league, but they're still just piddling around the Pacific Division. Is that just what they are, or do you think they got a turnaround coming in store for us?
I mean, I think that's the issue for them is they have probably two of the best players in the league right now, but that seems like that's all they have right now. They just, beyond them, they really don't get a whole lot. Their depth guys once in a while will get one in, but there's not a whole lot there. I'm definitely on the Flame side here. Usually the over is a nice play here, but they've met twice so far this year. First matchup hit the over with 7 goals, and the second one only had 5 goals. So, I mean, 1-1 there. You know, we're not seeing the playoff matchup we saw last year that averaged like 15 goals a game or whatever ridiculous shit that was. But the Flames here, they're the better team. I think they have better depth. They're on home ice. They can do their best to limit McDavid and all them. You know, you can't really stop them. You can kind of hold them to a point, maybe two. I don't like the Flames puck line here just simply because when the Oilers, if the game's close and they do pull the goalie, you give them that extra man opportunity. You create space for McDavid and Draisaitl. More often than not, they're going to get one in. So I think anything Flames here money line, it's minus 140, not the most exciting play on the slate. Maybe you go regulation win at plus 110, but it's just always so hard to tell with these two teams. It just seems like they play each other differently than they play every other team. So I think if anything, minus 140 on the Flames money line, but overall, I think I might be avoiding this one too. A lot of games I'm avoiding today, apparently.
No, yeah, fair enough. Like I said, slate this large, no reason to break your back making a pick for everyone. Nate's fine, man. You got anything else on this game?
Yeah, just the Flames top power play is a pretty good DFS play here. Even their third line, their depth line. I mean, the Oilers' depth lines are not good. So the Flames definitely have an advantage there, especially on home ice /change. I like them. They're probably one of my favorite stacks. I mean, the numbers support it. The one thing is they can't give Edmonton the power play. I mean, they cash in on 50% of their opportunities. when they go in the power play. But good thing for the Flames is they allow under three opportunities per game, so they're pretty good at playing solid hockey, and not allowing them to get shorthanded attempts. So that's where I'm at. Good DFS spot. Probably one of the best matchups on the slate at not a ton of ownership. So that's where I'm at.
Fair enough. All right. Next game, my favorite game on the slate. San Jose Sharks at the Vancouver Canucks. Vancouver continues to score at a great rate. Sharks, they're the Sharks, man. They're just sitting at the bottom. They're happy they have the Anaheim Ducks to pad the bottom of the Pacific Division, but there's just nothing really special about this team. Be that as may, though, Vancouver is still only minus 137 at the money line. You can grab the puck line at plus 168 for Vancouver, but the play I'm liking here is the 60-minute money line, Vancouver plus 114. What do you think about that play, Tanner?
Yes, I definitely lean Vancouver here. They've just been playing so well lately, and I think part of that is just how well Elias Pettersson has been. He basically won them the game against the Kraken. I think I saw so he was on the ice for all 5 goals for the Canucks that game, and he was off the ice for all 5 goals against. He's just been lighting the league on fire. For him to record over 1.5 points is plus 145. For him as an anytime goal scorer, plus 125. Like, if anything, I think I'm going towards his props on these ones just because he's been so electric lately. I do like the Canucks as well. So I think in the first period, they've been coming out hot. For them to win the first period, minus 0.5 is plus 160. So I think that'd be my favorite play for this game there. Definitely like the Canucks, and it's most, like I said, because of Elias Pettersson. He's just been so good, and he's just been so hard for teams to shut down.
Right on. Dateify, man, you got a Vancouver stack for today? Can you recommend it?
Yeah, so I'm going to go the over in this game.
Yep.
I like both sides. Love this. Both games, their last 2 appearances together have both gone over the total of 6.5. 7 goals in one, and I think 11 in the other, 6-5. So I love both sides. I actually lean to the Sharks, to be honest with you. And one very solid call that I love here is Nick Bonino for the Sharks. He's on the second line, second power play, 3.4K. Has a goal in his last game against the Canucks back on December 7th. 5 shots on goal, 3 shots on goal the game before that with 2 assists. So he obviously plays very well against these Canucks in both appearances this year. Both of them were at home ice, but now he travels to Vancouver. So I think he's going to get a little better matchup because I think if the coach can, with the last change for the Canucks, he's going to put Horvat's line on Timo in that top line from a defensive standpoint, I believe. So he should have some better looks. 3.4K. So I lean this second line for these Sharks with Couture and Barbanov. Very cheaper price tags. But it's hard to bet against Timo right now. Timo's starting to heat up again like he was earlier in the year. Him and Carlson can definitely always be played, but I just lean for the salary. This second line here for the Sharks. Looks like we lost JC here for a little bit, but and on the Canucks side, I mean, Pettersson is on fire right now. I mean, he's playing great, so you can definitely go to him. Horvat is playing well with that top line. Miller time has been good. He's always an RPS legend for us, and JT Miller, and he's 5.6K, so that's a nice price tag there. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Good, like both sides on DFS. Lean the Sharks, just that second line for the salary savings, but wouldn't fault anyone for going both sides of this game, even a game stack. I don't know if I get to a game stack on a 12-game slate. It's just you need a lot to go right. You need all the other games to pretty much dud, unless you triple stack a team and they score. You get all 3 goals or something like that. Game stack's just tough. But maybe on like the night slate or something, I would definitely game stack this and like pieces of both sides for the full slate for sure.
Fair enough. Tanner, anything you want to add to that?
No, I'm good here.
Fantastic.
Hey, what's Nick Bonino's anytime?
I just had that up.
Yeah, I did too. Plus 275.
Yeah, so I definitely don't hate that for sure. I think that we see a lot of goals here. Has good history in both games this year against these guys, and on the road, I think he gets more ice time too on that, being on that second line, and Horvat being on that top line to try and slow down Timo and Carlson. So definitely don't hate that.
Sweet. Fair enough. Moving on, last game on the slate. Due to blizzards in Buffalo, they will not be playing Columbus. For those who just missed out on that news, the final game we have is Las Vegas Knights, who are a dog heading into LA to take on the Kings. Not very often you can catch Vegas as an underdog. So, Tanner, man, are you jumping on that opportunity, or are you buying in on this Kings team?
I think the big factor for me is what goalie we get in LA tonight. Because if it's Jonathan Quick, I'm taking the Knights plus 100 all day, every day. Quick's been pretty bad lately. But if it's Phoenix Copley, I think I got to stick with the Kings. He's been good for them. He's, I haven't seen a ton of him, but what I have seen, he's been very good for them. Vegas, they're doing well on the road, scoring almost 4 goals a game. But they're not taking a ton of shots. They're ranking 20th in the last 5. So, I don't know. The Kings haven't been the best. They've been better defensively lately, especially on home ice. Only 2.5 goals allowed a game. Their penalty kill is not great. Vegas's power play is very good, but Vegas doesn't draw a lot of penalties. If they get a power play, they're going to score some. Like I said, I think the big play for me here is whether it comes down to who's in net, and that is going to determine who I take in this one. So until that comes out, I've got nothing on this game.
Fair enough. You agree with that taking 8-5, or you got a different opinion here?
Yeah. So it's definitely depends on who's in net, but I don't really care who's in net, to be honest with you, with this Knights power play. Probably the best power play matchup on the slate. They cash in 50% of their opportunities on the road this year, or in the last 2 weeks and the Knights kill off, or the Kings kill off under 70% and give up over 3 chances per game. Pietrangelo is playing great. He's 6.6K. Like him a lot for a defensive man. I like to spend down on defensive pieces on such a large slate, but if I'm spending up, I definitely like him as one of the spend up options at 6.6K on that top power play. Chandler Stevenson on that top power play, 5.4K, playing incredible hockey right now. I like him quite a bit. Same thing, Riley Smith. Had a down game last game against the Blues, but we'll like him to bounce back quite a bit here. Before that, he had 25, 31, 19, and 16, and then 13 the game before that. So, he's playing great, starting to heat up again on that top power play as well. And Mark Stone. Mark Stone's absolutely on fire, averaging 30 DK points in his last 2 games at 5.2K. So that's where I'm going to go here, is this top power play. And if you really, really want a punt, is old man Phil Kessel is on that top power play as well, 3.4K. So if you need salary savings, don't hate that. But Stone, Smith, Stevenson, and Petro, I love from this night squad, and it's a great late night hammer in probably one of the best matchups on the slate. So that's where I'm at.
Love it. Tanner, man, anything you want to add to that?
No, like you said, yeah, power play is the biggest thing here for Vegas, I think. Yeah, they only draw 2 power plays a game, but like I said, I think you can look more at the penalties taken more than the penalties drawn as a better factor than that, or a better indicator of that. So, yeah, if they can get on the power play, they should cook them. But in general, I think I do lean more towards the Kings here, just because if they decide to, they can use those top lines to shut teams down. I don't know why they don't do it more often. They've been better lately, but yeah, I especially with Phoenix Copley in that, he's been good. So I think I got to stay with the Kings here.
Fair enough. I like it. Man, I think I'm gonna have to ride with Nate to definitely kind of lean Vegas here, but that's all right. Tanner just gives you the opportunity for bragging rights on Saturday. Did not do my normal promotional push, guys. Don't forget that like button. We are presented by Run Pure. Our man Nadesify, always on the daily fantasy, putting out the cores, putting out the gems for y'all. Tanner every day putting out the best bets, blogs. Tanner's articles are free, so even if you aren't a member, you can check out Run Pure. Head over to the articles on the bet side. Tanner always dropping gems. Definitely something worth checking out. Are we still running that promotion?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it's going on. Ho, 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 25. Gets you 25% off your first month. So you want to check us out. We have monthly, weekly, yearly subscription fees over there. SaberSim Optimizer packages as well. All sports, one price. So definitely give us a check out on the DFS side. Obviously have the bets package as well for a lot of the behind the paywall bets, spreadsheets, and tracking and all that kind of stuff relating to bets to make you some money there in the bet side. And DFS side, we absolutely been printing every sport. I know college football playoffs are going on. Big NBA slate tonight. NFL is kind of winding down, but we got the playoffs coming up, which are an absolute printer. And then obviously hockey. We're kind of on the second half stretch here of hockey after Christmas break, and we've been good there. Had a couple takedowns so far. Couple of 5-figure wins, live final winners, things like that. So. Definitely been good, and I will have all my course content, everything posted to the site in the next 2 hours or so, give or take, do the playbook and everything like that. So definitely give us a look.
Yeah, so before we get to best bets, you heard the man. Check us out, sign up. You got an opportunity to save some money right now. But just to recap all the gems we've given out to this point, we had Jamie Benn, anytime goal scorer, plus 310. Kerfoot, anytime goal, plus 340. Coyotes plus 184 money line. Nate Defy dropped Nick Schmaltz anytime goal plus 230. And we're not hating Bonino at plus 275 anytime goal scorer. We've been nailing these prop plays on this show. So continue to join in, catch the gems. I'll kick us off with best bets. Again, whether it's a hidden gem on the DFS side or the best bet you got, I'm jumping on Vancouver, 60-minute money line, plus 114. Tanner, what you got for the people?
Yeah, I'm going to kind of tell that a little bit. I mentioned earlier, Elias Pettersson, over 1.5 points, plus 145. He's just been absolutely on fire lately. And like we said, there should definitely be some goals in this game, and I think he gets his hand in on a couple of them.
Nate.
Title, what up, my dude?
What do you do, man? Give us your best play.
Title. Yeah, so my best bet is definitely the Caps, plus 135 here. I don't see how they lose to this Rangers squad. If you really want to grab your nuts and man up, parlay that with the Yotes money line here. You could probably get some pretty hefty odds, probably 4 or 5 to 1 there. And then those anytime goals that I gave out, Nick Bonino, our guy Nick Schmaltz, and the other ones that you listed off. Like those guys quite a bit on the DFS side. Like I said, I'll have all my content up. And we got money to be made here on the hockey streets. Contests have been actually great all year on DK. If you guys want to check us out and give it a look. I know NBA All-Star break, hockey streets are going to feel like an NFL Sunday. But contests will be big there too. But DraftKings has done a good job at increasing these prize pools all year for hockey. So it's been fun, and we've had a lot of winners. So looking to keep that train rolling. But yeah, I don't see how the Caps lose here. So give me that plus money on their money line for sure.
Love it. Love it. As we wrap things up here, don't forget to head on over to the Run Pure channel and check out the NBA Rundown, which should be kicking off right now. Anything else from you boys before we sign off?
It's kind of throwing the Hurricanes money line on whatever plays you throw out there is for a little extra. I really don't see how they lose this game, but yeah,
love it.
Better payout and everything.
Get a nice easy leg added to the parlay. That's all we got. We will be back with y'all on Saturday, and as always, Run Pure, baby.